G'day guys, Paul, Perth 4x4 Adventures, and welcome to another episode of WASOLO. Now, for those of you that haven't followed on the WASOLO episodes, go back and have a look at them. They're pretty good. It's just me, nobody else, but that's not the point. Well, it kind of is. These videos are put together for our beginners, specifically my beginners or our beginners Facebook page, just to showcase tracks that the average beginner can do on their own without too much fuss and worry about themselves getting into a little bit of trouble. Now, I've done most of the northern tracks and places that are within a day's trip of the Perth metro area. So today I'm south and I'm in a popular place known as Whitehills. This is the entrance road to Whitehills Beach. It's called Whitehill Road, obviously. And it's the first, well, not quite the first, legal place that you can drive on in Perth outside the metro area. 5 minutes north there is Tim's Thicket. That's more of a bay, not a big drive. Nice to go down, sit on the beach, have a fish, have a day with your family. There is a rocky outcrop that you can get around that links Whitehills Beach, but only on a very low tide, usually in summer, not in the winter months. Now, one of the most popular questions asked in all the Facebook groups is, what's Whitehills Beach like at the moment? So all I can say is that in summer, it pretty much looks like this. And in winter, it's a very, very different story. And I'll get to some spots down the beach a little bit south that generally cause a bit of trouble during winter, which sometimes they tend to close the beach. Winter storms, winter tides tend to wash the beach away, and there is a hell of a drop off there. Don't know if it's there now being summer, but there might be evidence of it, so if it's there I'll stop and show you. So, Whitehills Beach, good 50 to, I can't remember, you can go all the way down to Mile Up. I don't know the exact distance, it's probably somewhere around 70 kilometres all the way down to Mile Up Beach. Straight run down the beach, through the Preston car park. There's some amenities there that you can use, toilets and that. There's a swimming beach. And you can drive straight through the car park, out the other side, and you can go all the way to Mile Up if you want. On and off the beach you can get all the way down to the cut near Bunbury if you really want to do it. So I'm just going to do Whitehills to Preston today, just to show you what the beach is like, the entrance track, and pretty much have a nice drive on the beach. So I'm just going to drop the tyres down. I'm just going to go straight down to 15 psi, limestone here, average coastal track there, then down onto the beach. There's no point, some people tend to, oh, I'll just go to 20 and then if I need to I'll drop it lower, but you might as well go straight down to 15 psi, then you shouldn't get stuck. And if you do, you've still got a little bit left to play with if you want to, but you shouldn't need to, especially on this beach anyway. So, but we'll see how we go. Stranger things have happened. So I'm just going to drop the air out of the tyres and then we'll head on up the track. Alright, so all aired down now, and as I said, 15 psi all the way round. I have nothing in the back camping or anything like that, so I've got no weight in the back to worry about. So limestone for a K or two down here, and then we get into coastal track. So a couple of cars just came out, there's no wind, the sky's nice and clear. It looks like a beautiful day for a drive along the beach, so can't wait to get down there and see what it's like. Alright, see you down there.
We came to take what was meant to be ours. There's no place to hide. Yeah, it's written all over.
Alrighty, Alrighty, I just thought I'd stop here at the end of the limestone and the entrance to the track just to show something. Sun is in my eyes, so sorry if I'm squinting. It's a bit of an issue down here with people that don't seem to realise that you can't actually drive in the dunes anywhere along this beach. And they say, well, I didn't know, but right here is the sign that tells you everything you can and can't do at Whitehills Beach. So right there it says, and I'll get out of the shadow, or my shadow out of it, driving in the dunes is strictly prohibited, fines apply. It clearly says on that sign, no camping, no quad bikes, no trail bikes, no fires. Okay, so for those of you that aren't quite sure, there it is written in plain English. Nice bright signs for people to be able to see, and there used to be signs all along the beach, but there are some people out there that figure if they don't see a sign then they're allowed to do it, so the signs tend to disappear for some strange reason, but we won't go into that. So that is the rules with this beach. I can't wait to get down there to show you what it's like, so let's go.
Tell our stories of battles and glories, the ones that nobody forgets. Yeah, we'll be remembered for this. We came to fight. We came to take what was meant to be ours. There's no place to hide.
Alrighty, well as you see I have arrived on the beach, but I seem to be having a few little technical issues with equipment. Phone and drone are not working together very well, so I've had to switch phones. My camera mount keeps falling off the window, so that's a bit of a problem, so I need to go and get some water out of the fridge to fix that so that it sticks to the window properly. But here I am on the beach. Magnificent morning, and I've seen there's one car coming up the beach now. There it is, that's it, and I can't see anybody else down here, so I've got it all to myself. But I need to fix this problem, which alerts me to another problem that I'm going to show you in a sec. We're going to go around the back. I'm going to show you another problem that has developed with this vehicle. Right, so it's probably not so much of a developing issue, it's an issue from transferring everything from the Jeep into the back of this vehicle. So, what I have is a fridge problem. My fridge, because this vehicle is probably about 4 inches higher than the Jeep was, I didn't get any taller, the vehicle did. So, when I pull my fridge out, I want to get something out of it. I can't actually see in. Can't see in, so it's like a lucky dip. I have to go in and try and pick what I want to do. The other issue I have is it doesn't open very well. So for me to actually get something out of the fridge, I have to climb on the tailgate, and if I want to fill it up to go away, I have to take the lid off. So, company you may have noticed in the credits, Slider Solutions have jumped on board. Jason has offered to help out with my problem. He's going to install one of their locally made slides, fridge slides. I'm not going to give too much away, it'll be in the next episode. We're going to do a little install, but what he's got installed for me should solve my problem. In the meantime, I need to get some water out because I'm a little bit thirsty and I need to fix that mount at the back. So this is how it goes. I have water. Alright, let's fix these problems. So I'll just stop at this spot here. This is one of the spots that tends to get a bit iffy in winter. Now, there's the high side of the track there that I'm on now. Water is just to my left. Now, if you look up the beach, you can imagine in winter that when the high tides are in, the winter storms are blowing, and in winter we have exceptionally high tides. The water comes right up to here, and all you're left with is that. And people come unstuck. They come along here at a fair rate of knots, and all of a sudden the beach runs out and there's a big, I'll do that on camera, there's a big drop off and they tend to go, and that's where they need to call my mate, or my mates, Sean and Sarah at West Coast 4x4 Recovery. I'll put their number on the screen, guys, because if ever you're in strife, give them a call. They are the best in the business. They have the Unimog, they now have the new weaponry in their armory, the 4x4 tilt tray. They've also got the patrol, so they've got all the bits that will help you get you back on the way, and if you are broken they can even tow you back to your workshop or even their own workshop that they have. So I'll put their number on the bottom of the screen. Put that number in your phone, guys, because if you ever get into trouble, give West Coast 4x4 Recovery a call. They will come and help you. Tell them I sent you and they will look after you. Alright, they'll probably look after you anyway, but you know, drop my name just so they know. Alright, so one thing I didn't say, and I'll put it on the screen, is when you're coming down to the beach, always check the tides. And basically, you get some people ask, how do you check the tides? So, I get my phone, which I've thrown because it was driving me crazy early. So, I get my phone, and basically, and I'll put it up on screen because I took some screenshots. We go to Google, we just simply type in tide times and the area that you're going to. In this instance is Whitehills Beach, and here they are on screen. You can see that at the first shot is basically just the tides for the next 3 days. The second shot tells you when, and I haven't got my glasses on, tells you when the low tide is at 6:30 a.m. So I know the lowest tide was 6:30 this morning, which was just before I got on the beach. And the next shot tells me when the high tide is for the day, which is only another, what, 3.3 of a metre. So it's not that big a tide. The big tide was at 9:30 last night. So full high tide was 9:30 last night, low tide 6:30 this morning, and at, again I can't see, 12:30 it's going to be 0.7, which won't give me any dramas whatsoever. But it's always handy to have. Check the tides, screenshot them in case you can't remember before you go on any beach or any trip, to make sure you're not going to get yourself caught in the waterline. Because if you do get stuck, you need to know how much time you've got. And that's when you call Sean and Sarah. All right, let's, I put my phone away because I don't really need that while I'm on these beautiful beach runs. And it's not a breath of wind down here. It's beautiful. I can see a car now parked up there, obviously doing some fishing. One car's come off the beach while I was here, and while I was airing down, 2 cars came past me. That is it. Now, admittedly, this is a weekday. On a weekend, this place is pretty busy. So if you do get yourself into trouble, there's always going to be someone to help. But yeah, hence why the track tends to get a bit corrugated and well used. But yeah, this is just beautiful down here. Don't know where else you'd rather be. But all right, let's plot on up the beach and I'll see if I can find, I'm sure there's another narrow spot up here. And again, when I said earlier about signs that disappear, there's a concrete lump that used to have a sign on it back up there, but obviously someone's pulled out at some point, and maybe even souvenired the sign, who knows. But yeah, that's what happens to them. Okay, let's go. Okay, I think I fixed my problem with my in-car camera mount. It seems to be staying now. It seems to like cold water to stick to the window. I don't know what it is, but I just thought I'd jump on and say I'm actually impressed. This is the first time I've done this run. The beach isn't too bad. It's not as badly cut up. It is a weekday, so it's probably had a bit of time to recover from the weekend. But a few little corrugations, which is the old story of people not letting their tyres down. The beach is beautiful, nice and wide, almost flat. I can see obvious signs of tracks going up into the dunes. I'm not going to go there, but yeah, what a beautiful day. And I haven't actually come across a good representative of what it looks like in winter, because it's all basically repaired itself. But in winter along here, as I said before, they sometimes close it. And I'll try and, there's a few spots along the edge here, I'll try and show you what the high track will actually look like in winter. But I've gone past the part that's normally closed and I haven't noticed any as yet. So, what a glorious morning, not a cloud in the sky, there is hardly a breath of wind, the ocean is almost glassy, and couldn't pick a better day to be down the beach. Now obviously when this video drops it's going to be more towards winter, so it's probably just going to be on the edge of not beach weather, if you get my drift. So, but that's all right. I might do a section here. This is probably a good spot to show you, so I'll just stop the car and we'll get out and I'll show you this bit here, because this is one of them. So don't go anywhere. Okay, change cameras to the handheld. If the audio is a bit different, I'm wearing a mic just there, because usually down the beach it's windy, so I thought I'd put the audio mic on for this one and avoid the wind, but there's no wind, so, but never mind. So if the audio is a bit different than normal, that's why. Could be better, could be worse. But anyway, here is one section that generally tends to wash out here. As you can see, the beach is over there, clear sand through there, and then we've got water in there where the beach water once was. So the water will come all the way up to here basically, and all you're left with is this high track. And what tends to happen is it slowly gets washed away, and to the point where it becomes dangerous. So I'll just pan the camera around and you can have a look for yourselves. So you can see the high track up here, but most of that ends up getting washed away because the water comes all the way in here, and that's where people end up getting into strife, because they're going a little bit too fast. All of a sudden the beach runs out and they end up in a bit of trouble. But this is one of the spots in winter that you can't get past. Now again, there are obvious tracks going through the dunes. We'll just leave that there. If we want to teach responsible four-wheel driving, then, you know, we find another way around. We risk going through the really soft, wet parts, or we turn around and go back. But it's actually, it's national park. Bit of a national park conservation area. I think conservation area, definitely national park. But the dunes all the way down here are protected areas and you're not supposed to be in here. But this is basically what you end up with. As I jump down here, you can see that shelf. That's what you end up with on the edge of the track, and it doesn't take much for it to fall away. So you can imagine putting a car on that and what happens to it and what happens to you when you touch it. So there you go. That's just an insight. My advice would be beach in summer, go inland in winter. You can have a nice fire inland if you're going camping. Can't camp down here, can't have a fire. But to me, each to their own. People like to come down and do fishing and that sort of thing, walk their dogs. Not sure if you're allowed to have a dog down here. I know people do, but I don't remember on that sign. I might go back and have a look. Actually, I'll look at the video when I do the editing. That'll tell me whether I can have a dog down here or not. But people do, and yeah, there might be an idea why you come down here in winter. But to me, I don't find much inviting about a beach in the middle of winter when it's 16 degrees and pelting down with rain and windy as hell. I'd much rather go inland, where it might be a little bit warmer and a little bit drier, but definitely not so windy. But never mind. All right, let's keep cruising up this beach, eh?
We're making small talk, believing in a world we don't know. An energy so deceiving, stuck in silence somehow. Are you listening? 'Cause I can't figure it out. Memories, ecstasy, and we're missing you now. The chasing fantasy, and there's no easy way out. Are you listening? Are you listening now?
Alrighty, just going to jump out here. Now you would have seen something on camera then. I'm not a fan of it, but each to their own. People claim you can camp down here as long as you've got a fishing rod out. Now, pretty sure the ranger's not stupid. That when you see swags and tents set up on the beach, just because you got a fishing rod in the water doesn't mean you're not illegally camping. But people do it, and that's the excuse they give. So if anybody says to you, it's okay as long as you got a rod in the water, it's actually not. But again, each to their own. I'm not going to sit here and tell people what they can and can't do. I'm just going to tell you what the legalities of the area are, because I like to promote responsible four-wheel driving. So the wind is just starting to pick up now. You might just hear it on the microphone. Got a little bit of a strong wind warning from the drone as I put it up to 90 meters to get a shot back there. So wind is starting. Ocean is starting to get a little bit rougher, but it's a beautiful morning out here. Just look down the beach. There's that shelf that the water creates that I was telling you about, which sometimes is up there on the high track and up there. And again, that's only the second car I've seen fishing on the beach, third car I've seen on the beach this morning. So yeah, awesome, really awesome. So anyway, there's not a lot to show in the way of challenges. It's a beach drive, it's flat, there's no dune driving, there's no real challenges along here unless it's winter. So it's just a nice, pleasant beach drive, minus the dicks really. so there won't be a lot more footage before we get to Preston, but if we come across anything interesting, you'll be the first to see it. All right, cheers. A little tip for you beach driving, which I just experienced there. It won't show up on camera, but when I pulled up, when you pull up on a beach, don't use your brakes, just come to a rolling stop so you don't end up burying yourself in the sand. And while I'm talking to you, I'm coming up to one of those interesting spots, so I'm going to stop and show you that. But as I went to take off, I could feel the car starting to bog down, so I headed low. Headed downhill, it's hard down the bottom there, headed low to get the momentum up so I could then swing back up the top. If you try and instantly get back up again, you're going to get stuck and then you're going to be in trouble. So as long as you got some max tracks and a shovel with you, you should be able to get yourself out, as long as you don't sit there burying yourself in the sand like Brad did in one of our previous videos. Oh, he's missed it again. And he's going to bury himself good and proper. Anyway, here is an interesting demonstration of the high track and the low track. So I'm going to get out and I'm going to show you. And also a very important part about four-wheel driving is when you stop, put it in park. Don't leave it in drive. Okay, let's get out. Okay, so I've got the other camera set up here. This is one of the narrow sections that gets washed away. So I'm just going to demonstrate on the other camera how big the drop off is. And I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get back up here, but I'll go down it. There we go. And there I am on camera. That's how big the drop off is, and I'll stand here. There we go. My head is almost at the bottom of my wheel height. So now comes the interesting part of me trying to get back up. Oh, not too bad. So that is how big a drop off can be in the winter washouts. Of course, in summer, not too bad. High track stays here, as you can see, all the way along there. It starts up there and it finishes up there. And I've actually done a beginner's run through here before where we had to take the entire convoy down the bottom there. Luckily the tide was out and we managed to get through. But yeah, this is one of the treacherous sections. So just wanted to stop and point that out. All right, let's go.
Gotta remember things are changing, but our love is always staying the same. And if you ever forget how good we've got it, think of it like this. Tell me something that's better than jumping in your car, windows down in the dark, yeah. My head resting on your shoulder, the night gets a little colder, I'm moving a little closer.
Now on this side through here, quite lucky, beach has opened right up. As you can see, I'm now on the lower side rather than the high side that is a lot softer. It's a bit more firmer down the bottom here, a bit more well used. So I'm just treating myself to not having to fight the vehicle through the soft stuff and just cruising along. I'm doing 40 k's an hour in low range. I'm in no hurry whatsoever. Ocean is right there, plenty of beach, and tide's not due in for another 3 hours, so all good. Preston's not that far away, but still a bit. It was about that far on the map, which, knowing that thing could be any distance. Never mind. All right, let's keep on going.
I see forever in a moment with you. I wouldn't give it up for nothing. Yeah, this is it. Tell me something that's better than this. The wonders of the world got nothing on us. Billions of stars spell out our names. Reality and dreams are now the same. And if you ever forget how good we've got it, think of it like this, yeah.
Alright guys, well as you would have seen, I have reached Preston Beach. Now you can drive straight through, as you saw. Basically when you get to Preston, you've got a swimming area here, and it quite clearly says vehicles prohibited, just for those that have bad eyesight like me. Swimming area, vehicle prohibited, all the way through there. That's so the people that are staying or living in the town have a safe area to swim. And now unfortunately I can see wheel tracks in there, so in summer obviously you can get around these bollards, and disappointing that people feel the need to drive on the only spot where people can swim safely without worrying about being run over. But never mind, again, each to their own. Now I'm going to end this trip here. You can keep going down there, all the way down there and around that point for another 20-30k, something like that. I don't know the actual distance of this run, and you can come out at mile up. You cannot drive any further than mile up because again they have bollards there, and you can only exit the beach. You can't get back on the other side. You have to go back up to the highway and go further up to come back down. I'm not sure exactly where the entrances are. I know there's one at Belvedere and Buffalo Beach. I'm not sure of the Binning Up one. A lot of them get washed out in winter, so you can't access them. And again, as I said before, this beach is not pleasant in winter, so I tend to stay away from it. So that's Preston. That is this run. Quite an easy beach run. I was in low for all the way, 15 psi, never had any trouble whatsoever. When you stop, make sure you don't brake heavily. Just let the car come to a rolling stop, and you'll be able to take off with ease. So the wind is just starting to pick up now, which you can probably hear on the microphone, so I'll turn away from it. But yeah, still not a cloud in the sky. And yeah, I wanted to get down here early, A, to beat the traffic, and to beat the wind, so I could get some good drone footage. So I hope I have. So on that note, guys, don't forget to check out our website. You can buy some merch. You can read all about us. You can jump on one of our tag-alongs if you wish when they are released. And if you wish, you can become a Patreon. There's no link, or there could be a link there. I can't actually remember. I'll check that out. But otherwise, I generally leave a link in the description, guys. If you want to become a Patreon, it would be good. Our content will always be free, but there is additional content available on Patreon for those that help us out with our content. So much appreciated to those guys that already do. So without further ado, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this episode of WASOLO. Not sure where I'll go next. I'm trying to get to the Leonard's Track. Went to Leonard's Track last time and the bushfire had closed it, so I couldn't do it. But it is a seasonal track, and it will be pushing towards wet season by the time I actually release it. So we'll see how we go there. But if you've got any ideas of what you want me to do in these episodes, I'm kind of thinking of maybe pushing down to the Jaeger Ups to show you that you can actually do the Jaeger Up dunes on your own as well, quite safely. But I'll have a think about that. But in the meantime, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for your support, and we'll see you on our next adventure. Cheers.
Forever in a moment with you, I wouldn't give it up for nothing.